A very warm welcome everyone, my name is Nick, we're on the ZX Spectrum and we're going to be playing Airborne Ranger, a game that came out by Microprose in 1988, and this game was suggested by patron Ian O'Reilly, so we'll have a look to see what this is about. Now it's a tactical combat game which also came out on the Amstrad CPC and the Commodore 64. I tended to avoid games like this in the past that are technical because I'm not very good at them, but it's a recommendation, so we'll have a look at that. If you want to check out the Patreon site and recommend a game, it's patreon.com/njenkin. Right, here we go. So here's all the missions here. We are military men and we must solve stuff. Let's do the top one. Destroy munitions depot. I'm not quite sure what the controls are. The instructions aren't brilliant, so I'm a little bit out of my depth here, but 8-bit wonder, we'll see how it plays, see what fun we can get. Now we'll put it on as easy as possible. The enemy depot consists of an ammunition shack, a hunter well anyway, we need to blow stuff up. All three should be destroyed. So first of all, we're in an airplane and we must launch bombs or supplies in the trenches. The trenches are those black lines. Here we go. We need top timing here. Right, off we go. Right, shocks away. Is that going to land in there? Possibly. Now one in this trench, please. Okay, that's there. One in this one. Has that landed in? Good. And then we've got to bomb that, I think. Have we done it? I'm not quite sure. What's going on? We've done it. Right, okay. Now we're on the ground and we must run around a bit. Time's ticking down. I don't understand here. I keep getting shot actually. This isn't going to last very long. I've shot that bloke and away we go and I'm dead. Oh, okay. Now I do know a poke on this one, at least, for infinite energy, so we can get past that airplane bit again. I should be able to give it another go. We'll do the same mission again. I think the other missions are quite similar, but you get a different background. If you have played this on any system, then let me know. It's a game I know very little about before this point. Microprose from 1988 has got long loading times, but I will edit those down. Lots of missions on the disc, and well, not the disc, the cassette, and there were two sides to the cassette, so it's quite a lot to do here. It's like a technical commando type game, right? So we know what to do here. We got a plane. Dump your parcels wherever in these trenches and hit them. So timing is everything. If you miss the trenches, you can't go on to the next stage. Right, that's one. Bingo. I try and line stuff up with the rear end of the plane. That seems to be a good coordination. That's in. Right, go. Then bomb that when the arrow's there. Kaboom! Direct hit. No, it didn't direct hit. It's still shooting at us. Right, let's get in these trenches, and I think we have to pick up those things we lowered. By hitting spacebar, your man can go into a crouch to avoid being detected. There's a crosshairs in front of me. I don't seem to be able to shoot anything, so maybe I have to pick bullets up. But looking on the right there, we've got grenades, bombs, rockets. But yeah, I'm doing something wrong here. So we'll wander around the map for a little bit, probably till the time runs out. You don't know what you're doing. Hello, sir. I think I just killed him, did I? No. Trying to find my bearings here. Yeah, he's ducked down so I can't see him. He's crawling around. That's great tactics. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a game you need to know the instructions on what to do through and through. The instructions I've got are pretty incomplete, but there must be a way of firing grenades to blow up these sort of like shacks and stuff. I'm just a loony wandering around in no man's land. And people that wander around in no man's land quite often end up shot. Right, there's something in the trench there. Do I have to pick that up? It's not a patch on commando, I would say that. Boof. Right, okay. Now with this poke on, I can get shot as many times as I need to. I'm trying to avoid getting shot, but it's unavoidable. There you go, a bit of crawling there, that's good. You can get a long way by crawling, in general. Right, yes, I don't know. Weave through here. We need to blow up the munitions depot, wherever that is. There's a tent there. People are camping, and they couldn't have picked a worse place to go camping. This is worse than Butlins. Hidey hi, campus. Yeah. This reminded me a little bit of when I reviewed Rambo. That was a different graphics and different background, but I was wandering around aimlessly in that one as well. Looks like we come to the end of the map. There's no munitions depot up here. Yes. Hello. I just walked through that person. He ducks down for no reason at all. Doing a bit of a crawling. Now, people that are really familiar with this game and played it a lot back in the day probably be screaming at the screen now, saying stuff I should be doing. So what should I be doing? Is there a gun somewhere I can pick up to fire stuff? How do I fire those grenades? The instructions say hold down the fire button, then release to launch them, and that's not happening. Rockets there, they're not doing anything. It's just crazy town. Yes. I don't think I would have reviewed this one if given the choice. I have a long list of stuff I have to review. This isn't bad, this game. It seems to be well put together. It's just that it's a bit technical for me, and there's probably lots of buttons. I'm pressing lots of buttons on the keyboard in the hope that they do something, and they're not actually doing them. When you're looking at war games, have a look at Commando. Mercs isn't quite as good, Rambo isn't quite as good, so just look at Commando. You can't go wrong with that. Classic. What's up here? The graphics are quite good. By pressing return or enter, the man can go a bit quicker, but he loses energy when he does that. Oops! I think I just walked over a landmine. Don't do that. If you're an enemy troop, well, if you're an enemy troop, walk over them. But if you're an allied troop, don't walk over landmines. That's what I say. They are dotted around. The map's not as big as Trans Am, but Trans Am is not a war game. Well, it's sort of. It's like you're in a Mad Max sort of world driving around in a car. Check that one out. Trans Am is a pretty good game. And that has day and night cycles in that one, which was quite advanced at the time. This one does not have day and night cycles. Yeah. You're in the army now. Whoa, whoa, you're in the army now. That was by Status Quo. If you're quite young, you might not know who Status Quo are. I love retro gaming, but I wouldn't use this game to try and boast how good retro gaming is. It's just lacking something. It's direction. It's lacking a good player playing the game. That's what I would say. But, you know, a lot of these reviews are about your first impressions of the game. Very few of them I would have played too many times before, because there's just thousands and thousands of Spectrum games, and that's what makes the catalogue so good. Right, what's that? Right, I picked that up. That was more rockets, which I don't know how to fire. I'm pressing R, I'm pressing spacebar, I'm doing lots of stuff with a joystick. Yeah, where's this munitions depot? Look, that thing keeps shooting me. Now, wondering why this lone officer's not dying. I'm quite tempted to turn the poke off now. If you've got this game and don't know the poke is 36774,33. Don't ask me how you put it in. You've got to work that out yourself. Late 80s, so you know it was in the Spectrum's run. I prefer games from the early 80s, to be honest with you. 88, the Commodore Amiga starting to get onto the scene. 8-bit still running. Well, I suppose 8-bit's running in parallel with 16-bit in 1988. As soon as you hit the 90s going on further, then 16-bit technology does take over and 8-bit falls behind. But very recently 8-bit's had a surgence. People like going back to simpler times where there's not downloads and overcomplicated gameplay. You've got to donate your life to it. These ones you can play for a few minutes and then ditch it completely and then play something else. And that's what it's all about. What it should be all about. It should games should ease stress. They shouldn't increase stress and completely devour all your spare time. But I'm one to talk because this channel devours a lot of my spare time. But as you know, this month, starting May the 14th, 2018, we're going full time for 1 month to see how that goes. Ever since I announced that, I got quite a bit of support, and then as always when you try and attempt anything, oh, a nice map. A few trolls have sprung up sending me messages saying you're not good enough to do that, you shouldn't be doing this, but you just got to ignore that or else you go completely and utterly crackers. Yes, Jacob's crackers, cream crackers, boom. Just do the best you can, gradually improve, have a laugh. Yes, boom. Yeah, it's hard to get an impression what I'm going to do in 1 month, but I'll give it a good old go. If things pick up to a certain degree, then we might extend it. You never know. Yes, go. So please subscribe if you haven't already. Let's get those numbers up. We're doing it the honest way, so we haven't been spamming all around the place, which basically means that the numbers grow slower, but the people that do comment tend to be more knowledgeable and, for want of a better word, more normal, other than just bots. There you go, I'm coughing now. Hello there. Yes, right. This trench looks a bit black. You dig underneath this yellow desert sand and it's just black underneath. I think we might have struck oil, you know, and I think we should just go somewhere else and with all the oil and become billionaire sheiks somewhere, have a nice swimming pool, drink exotic cocktails, and yeah, excellent. Yes, there's not too much more I can do here. I don't know what stage will be after this. You probably go back to the menu after this and do something fairly similar. So you got the plane stage and you got the walking round infantry type man stage, and that's it. But the game scrolls quite well. The map's pretty big, I suppose, for the day. The man always stays in the centre of the screen, scrolls along with him. Frame rate's pretty good. Odd walking movement, but that's acceptable for the day. So I'd say overall, although I'm complete rubbish at it and not fully aware of what I'm doing, it's a good game, one would say. Don't think too many people would have been aware of it. Microprose. I didn't know Microprose till now did any 8-bit games. The first I come in contact with them was Jeff Cameron's Formula 1 Grand Prix on the Commodore Amiga, and Stunt Car Racer, of course, also by Jeff Cameron. There's Microprose Soccer, I think that came out on the Spectrum. I was more familiar with that on the Amiga as well, but then those soccer games were really dwarfed by the Kickoff series and then later Sensible Soccer. This boat looks a little bit like a man from the Ghostbusters. Yeah, there's a few ghosts here. It needs to be easier to fire, I think. The weapon system, the control system needs to be a lot easier, because I'm sure I can fire, but he's just not doing anything. Look at all those grenades I've got. I'm hitting B, space bar. Nothing's really happening too much. But anyway, I think we'll leave that there. It's a little bit flat, this, but I presume there's a lot more going on underneath. That was Airborne Ranger, published by Microprose in 1988 on the Commodore Amiga. Thanks for watching that one as always. If you want to help the channel's long-term survival, then have a look at patreon.com/njenkin. Until next time, take great care of yourself, and till next time, a very fond goodbye.
Goodbye.